Hi everyone, my name is Kayla.
And I'm Tiffany.
And you're tuned into
Wooed Up, where spirituality meets reality.
Ding! That's it, you got it.
Yes, perfect. And today is our first episode, y'all.
Pew 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 pew. Whiskey.
That's what
Just all the sounds.
I couldn't remember what noise you made earlier.
Yeah.
Is it a TikTok noise?
It is a TikTok noise. We'll be making a lot of those, so feel free to.
She will.
It's the neurospicy brain. Don't judge me. But yes, this is our very first episode. Thank you guys so much for joining in. We're super excited to be here. We've been literally manifesting an opportunity for us to come together. Tiffany is absolutely incredible, and I'm super excited to be working with you on this podcast.
Stop, Kayla. We've been talking woo-woo in our house and not in our house and everywhere we go for the entire time we've known each other, which feels like years and years and years. And to have this setting, this beautiful setting, to have our first episode is an honor.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to dive in with you.
Me too.
Let's get it poppin'.
Let's get it.
Pop.
So this first episode is just going to be, a great get to know us. Who are we? Who are we? Why are we sitting on these chairs and talking about whatever the fuck we're going to be talking about? And just a little bit about our journey, and hopefully a lot of our journey resonates with you guys. And maybe then you guys will stay tuned to future moments of Kiki on the couch.
Yes, to Kiki on the couch.
Miss Tiffany, tell me about your journey. Tell me about where it all started, because I know you've been through some things.
I have. Me first. Okay. Whew, where do I begin? I was, for about 10 years, a miserable attorney, and I didn't know how to get the fuck out of a career that I had built since age 13. And I knew one day I would need out, and I had hit rock bottom. Not having really coping mechanisms of how to help myself through really difficult times, besides, therapy, neurofeedback, biofeedback, and that's when I kind of was first introduced to breath work. But ultimately, I guess my question was, when I hit rock bottom, is what is my point in this life? Why am I here? Why am I living? Why do I remain on this earth? And if I remain on this earth, how the fuck do I find happiness? And how do other people have happiness?
Yeah.
And I could not understand what that was like and why I struggled so hard for over 30 years to find that. So I found this book, The Power of Now, by Eckhart Tolle, or Tolle. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I tell everyone about it.
I'm currently reading it. I'm picking it up and putting it down whenever I need it, picking it up, putting it back down. It's incredible. If you guys haven't read it, highly recommend.
Yeah, it's like my own little personal Bible where I feel like I can just flip it open to a page, and whatever the universe wants me to hear in that moment, or that I need to kind of keep me going, is going to be on that page for me. And it really just was all about how your happiness is in the moment.
Yeah.
It's literally right here.
Yeah.
It's all your senses that you have right here, because you can't control the past. It's already happened, and you can't predict the future. So why spend any of your moments, any of your time focused on that, when in reality your life is going to pass you by if you're not just sitting right here in this moment like we are. And how just I can't even process actually right now how we're sitting here talking to each other about this and able to share this with all of you. And I hope that this resonates. And if you have not read that book, I really suggest that you pick it up, and it'll lead you kind of further down this path of other brilliant authors and people that have had similar experiences of hitting rock bottom and being like, what do I do from here? And I think from there, that's where I found my spirituality, and just kind of how do you live your daily life in a way that is going to be joyous for yourself and therefore joyous for others that you come into contact with, instead of making others that you come into contact with feel absolutely miserable because you're, sending out miserable energy. So yeah, from there, I started to connect with the universe, the source, God, goddess, whatever you want to call it.
Big Daddy G.
Yeah. G money.
G money.
Through meditation, through breath work, journaling, through my spiritual awakening, and just like having that deeper connection and that deeper knowing and that confirmation that there is some other energy out there.
Yeah.
Has really set me on this path of synchronicities and meeting beautiful people like you when I asked for community. So yeah, that's kind of where I was and what I was looking for and what I found. And now I'm, I would say that I am building myself to be a spiritual community leader. It's always a work in progress, but I definitely hold spaces for people through a variety of ways, whether that be, now the podcast, but through yoga, goddess yoga, coaching, and something coming soon. It's bubbling in the works, and it's through styling women and combining the meditation and breathwork coaching practice. So I've been dreaming of that for a while. Stay tuned, y'all. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Hell yeah, you are.
I love you and your support.
Yeah, always. I love my girly pops, and I feel like I'm really inspired by a lot of your journey, especially being someone that's like, you went through the whole process of like, oh, I'm going to do law school, and then spent like a decade doing that, and then like one day like growing the balls to be like, you know what, this just does not align for me anymore, and I'm just going to not. Yeah. Like, what if I just not? And there's something so powerful about the idea of the pivot. And recognizing where you are and saying that this doesn't align for me, and just wanting to move in a way that's gonna fulfill you in another way. And I think that it's something that's really important to note. It's like you're never too old, you're never too far into your journey, you're never too deep into anything to decide that you want to do something else. And so if there's anything that anyone takes from this alone today, I hope that it's that you can decide who you want to be, and you can wake up every morning and change your mind and start over and do it again and do it again. And I have so much respect for you for leaving a career where you quite literally funneled so much time and so much energy and so much money to get into, right? Like, it's not like, oh, I was, working at, this place for 10 years. It's like, no, this was a whole process that you went into, and just trusting the universe on your path. And now, here we are, and me being able to watch you do the incredible things that you do, it's really magical. And I'm honored and blessed to have you in my life.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. It is, as much as like, I'm like, it's in the past, it truly takes reflection to look back and be like, damn, I did that and I made that happen. And that was hard. And it is hard. And it's still, don't get me wrong, like, I'll get emails where it's like, do you want to come back to this job? And I, it takes everything in me to be like, what does that look like? And it's a hard no for me. Yeah. Because when those doors are open and you walk through those doors, then these other doors that could have opened, I find, stay closed or don't present themselves. So every day, like you were saying, it is a path that you choose. Do I continue down this path that is the same? I'm doing the same thing I do every single day, and you can't expect a different outcome that way. Or do you choose to make, one simple little change that day or in that moment that can potentially bring you the change that you're seeking? Absolutely. And you have that opportunity and that reflection, not only every day, but every moment of your life. Yeah. And I think that we, get so lost in the mumbo jumbo of life, and rightfully so. It's a lot in this earth suit, in this earth school. But when you can take that time to reflect of like, okay, do I continue this way, or do I maybe choose a different route? That's where the change and the beauty and the growth happens. And it's scary, and it's, it's fearful. There's fear there for sure. And so every day it's it's a choice. Every moment is a choice. And thank you for seeing that and honoring me for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what about you, girl? How did your journey start?
Oh my gosh. I feel like this question is just like so challenging because it's like, where does anyone start in any journey, especially rolling down like a spiritual journey, a spiritual path? And it's like the idea of the red string theory, where, you know, you can look back in your life and kind of connect all of these different moments to and search back to where you are now and how those moments brought you to where you are now. For most of my young adult, teen adult life, suffered from generalized anxiety disorder, major depressive disorder. I also have been diagnosed with panic attacks as well. And so for me, living with those mental health issues, it was always really challenging, especially not really understanding like where that came from. Thinking that that was just something that was just innately within me and not realizing that those things could be changed. So I'll never forget when I very first like decided that I was, you know, through coping with the struggles with drugs, with alcohol, with, you know, with sex, with men, and figuring out, you know, how do I fill my cup, and all of those ways were not working for me. I decided to take a yoga class. And it was so wild because after my very first yoga class, I will never forget, I was at a Gold's Gym. I walked out of the gym, walked right into the street, took a breath, and literally felt like I was high. Like I felt like I just smoked a joint. Like it hit my heart, and I was just like, there is something to this. There is something so deep within this, and I have to continue down this path. And that's really where it all began for me. Just being consistent in my yoga classes as a student. And then the teacher that I had was so incredible. She was like, have you thought about teaching? And I was like, no, you're the teacher. I want to take your class. And she's like, no, you should really think about teaching. And, you know, the universe in its mysterious ways, there was a training that came along and there was a fat discount on it. So I was like, what am I going to do? Like not take this training, you know? And I took the training, and I'll never forget, I thought I failed. I did. In my mind, right? My mind and my energy, like where I was at, I thought I failed. And they passed around the papers and I passed. And immediately after I passed, I told my teacher at the time, and she said that she wanted to give me 2 of the classes that she was teaching. And so I ended up teaching the same classes that I was taking as a student.
Amazing.
So that was incredible in its own way. And then through that, going deeper down into yoga, into different yoga teacher trainings and meditation and breath work, and then of course more about like tarot readings and sound baths and other different, I mean, the spiritual journey, there is so many different avenues and ways that you can connect to the other. And I think that spirituality can be defined as, you know, your relationship with the divine. And anything can be a spiritual practice. The way that you cook, the way that you shower, the way that you clean, the way that you speak to yourself, the way that you dream, the way that anything that you do with intention can be related to your connection and your intention with yourself, with others, and with the divine. And so, you know, finding different avenues that really felt aligned to me, and then really connecting in with the people that aligned with me in that way too. And so through that journey, I, you know, stopped, you know, the doing of the drugs, stopped smoking weed. I'm celibate now. So if we have any celibate girly pops out there, I feel your pain. I get it, but we're doing something right. There's a reason why we're doing this. And I offer you some support along that journey, but letting go of all of that. And then also just recognizing like what leaves your energetic space whenever you let go of those things. And this whole process has just been unbelievably beautiful. And we talk about the synchronicities that we see. Like if you're, you know, an angel number person, I'm an angel number person of the wazoo. That's how my guides speak to me. Feathers, we just found a feather right outside, right before we started today. And just the messages and the synchronicities, all of that. And for me, I fully believe that there is a reason why we are here. Especially for anyone that is called down this path. It's no easy path, and it definitely comes with its own challenges. But at the end of the day, it's so worth it to be able to change people's lives, to offer support, to offer kindness, to offer a space where people can just come together and just exist, where you can show up as you are. And who you are in this very moment is perfect and it's beautiful and it's exactly where you should be until you decide to grow and move out of that. Yeah. And so for me, working with women specifically and offering women's circles, cacao ceremonies, is a beautiful way that I like to really connect with other divine feminine energy, where we can work on like healing in a truly safe space that is solely in a container of just us, just fellow women that are just there taking care of each other and taking care of ourselves. And then on a more individual level, you know, of course, yoga teaching and teaching classes, private classes. And I actually have decided that I'm going to start getting into coaching. I feel like the universe has really just been like throwing that out to me. And, you know, that's definitely a to be continued kind of thing. But the universe has definitely been planting that very heavily in my path here lately. So, you know, one of the things we do is just fucking throw ourselves out to the universe. I think our word of this year is truly like surrender. Like whatever it is that the universe wants for us, like we're here and we're gonna, like we're here, we're queer. We're here and we're down to go along the path and just see where it leads us. So yeah, that's my spiritual journey in Owazu.
I love that.
It still continues.
Thank you for sharing that so much, because I do think that, you know, I glossed over anything that I was maybe suffering through besides, you know, questioning, of course, like what is the purpose of this life, but definitely depression and anxiety are there, especially in a career like I was in. And I love how bravely you speak out about that and you honor that that's something that you have been through and you continue to go through, but that you know what modalities get you out of that. Yeah. And that's what continues to inspire you and thus inspire me. And I know others around you. And yes to you coaching, because you know I come to you for coaching all the time, and just like the advice you give and the space that you hold even in the women's circles is so magnetic and powerful, and you've heard it from the women that show up that it's changing their lives, and they keep coming back, and they keep coming back for a reason. And just honoring that energy that you are offering and you're holding for everyone, and seeing it grow in this town, in this, it's going to be this state, this country, and all over the world when we start hosting retreats. So I'm so proud of you for where you come and how you show up every single day, and not only for yourself, but like for all the other women and humans that you interact with.
I really appreciate you saying that. I think it's really important to my tagline will always be the change that you wish to see in the world. And I mean that through and through. And if we can show up as our authentic self on the good days and on the shitty days, and just show the dualities that exist within life with authenticity, that is going to make a change. And I also want to add some clarification for anyone who's suffering from anxiety, from depression, from any other mental health disorder. You know, everyone is working through their own mental health issues in their own way. For me, I was very much anti-pharmaceuticals, anti-big pharma. I did not want to get on medication, but I realized that my spiritual practices alone wasn't enough to ground me in the way that I needed to be grounded. And so I did connect in with a psychologist who helped me with different prescriptions that really helped me get back into balance. I've also noticed that if I'm just taking my medication and I'm not doing my other spiritual practices, that I get thrown out of whack completely. So one thing I really appreciate is that combination of like westernized medicine and the way that, you know, unfortunately it's not, you know, sundrops and rainbows, the way that, you know, some of the information is construed and practices that we've seen and where they've come from in the research and yada, yada. But there are some benefits that come to that. And the same thing with Easternized philosophy regarding health and wellness, and aligning not just to the brain, but connecting to our energetic bodies and our energetic pathways, our chakras, and how all of that plays a role truly in its own way. And so I want to throw out that little nugget for anyone who is in the same situation that was similar to me at that time. you're scared about learning more about medication, I highly suggest that you do some research and see if that might be a good option for you. I was scared too, but I'll tell you, it's completely changed my life. So I want to throw that nugget out there that we are not anti-doctor. We are not anti-doctor. We are here for holistic health and wellness, but we're also most specifically here for whatever helps you.
Yeah.
And however that is.
Yeah, it's a different formula for every single person, and every single person's experience and what they need is different. And I think there's this book, and I forget the author. It's Western Mind, Eastern Body. I might be getting that mixed up, but it combines Western medicine and how we tend to treat certain issues versus maybe causation versus the way that Eastern medicine handles certain situations. And it really dives deep to even like the chakra system. So it's a culmination of all the modalities really that you can utilize to help you through whatever it is that you're going through. And just like you said, your motto, my motto is, it's a bittersweet symphony, this life. It really is. Like every time there's something so sweet that's happening, there's going to be something bitter that follows. And it's just your ability to be within that sweetness and that bitterness and feel both of those fully, and whatever you need to help you feel into those. That's what's so important, is really dropping out of your mind and dropping into your body and feeling those things and processing those things, because that's how we clear and that's how we heal. And I will be the first to say that is get into your body.
Mommy likes to dance. Mommy, she likes to shake a little ass. She likes to shake a little shoulder.
That is your final. I saw a meme the other day. It was like that. This is your final healing process, is shaking your ass. And I fully believe that, because that is you shaking that shit out, and it helps. I mean, if you don't dance, please dance, even if it's alone in your room.
And I'm not a dancer, like in my room or just out and about. I'll do a little shoulder shimmy, but this girl is definitely, I'll come into her room and I'm like, I'm sad. She's like, we need to dance. And there we go. There we go dancing.
And I honestly have, like, I just went to the Texas Eclipse Festival, and a ton of, obviously, music lovers, healers, psychedelic users, party goers, just like a culmination of, I think like 65,000 people showed up. And the one thing that I kept getting was when people would come up to me is like, what are you thinking when you're dancing? Like, how are you so joyous? Why, how do you have that joy? Because it's beaming and it's spreading. And I never really sat to think about how it's my dancing. Like my dancing is what makes me so happy. Just like processing everything through your body. And I never really thought about how, of course, it makes me happy and feel good. And that's why I love doing it. And I'm like, I don't give a shit what I look like. I'm going to practice my dance moves however it is. But it is a exponential effect on all the people around me.
Absolutely, because you give people the authority to be able to do exactly that.
The permission slip.
To let go and to just live their best life and do a little shoulder shimmy too.
And the energy that you're in, you know this. I think a lot of people know this, but if you don't, the energy that you're in, even if you don't even realize that you're in that certain energy, people can feel that.
Absolutely.
And you're gonna see that reflected upon you. And so you don't really realize, like, I'm fucking happy right now, I'm dancing my ass off, but like all the people around you can feel that joy. And that is, why it's so important to find what your practice is, whatever it is. It doesn't need to be dancing. It doesn't need to be medication. It can be whatever it is that you need, but that you honor yourself and choose yourself first every single day. Because when your cup is full, you're going to be able to pour into everybody else's cup and give that energy to others and be able to give that energy to others without depleting yourself.
Exactly.
And so it's like, figure out what your formula is, what makes you feel your best, and try to implement that every single day. And I think, don't get me wrong, I do not do it every day, but, I try to for sure. So I
don't know. I feel like your practice is pretty A1. Like, I'll just be walking to the kitchen. We live together, by the way. I'll walk into the kitchen and I'll just smell sage. And I'm like, ooh, this bitch is getting it. She's up in there. She's writing. She's journaling. She's doing a little something.
I have to because there's, especially along your journey, you'll maybe go a week or two and not do something
and you'll feel it.
Oh yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm losing it. And of course it could be the energy. It could be the eclipse energy. It could be whatever moon's going on. It could be,
God forbid you're deep in your cycle.
Yes, exactly. So of course the planets and their movement and your cycle and all of that matters, but it's also like, if you're not doing your practices, you're going to feel it. And then it's going to be that much harder to get back into those practices, which is fine. Again, everything's bittersweet, but like the more that you can cultivate that schedule, I guess. Even if you don't do it every morning, but maybe you sometimes mix it up at night, the more you're going to feel like your best version of yourself.
And I think that's why I'm like super excited that we're here together to do this podcast. I think that there's so many layers of information that we can just like ramble on and on and on and on and on about. So we're going to definitely have to be very organized in our thought processes for all future episodes for sure. But there are so many ways that we as people can learn, can grow, can connect, can develop, can heal, can ... And so I'm really looking forward to diving more into all the things that we're going to talk about. And there's going to be no filter here. It's going to get juicy.
It's going to be raw.
It's going to be
We already know.
Girl, I'm celibate.
Put a seatbelt on. I'm not celibate. And I made that as a serious decision. And so I've got some juicy information about what it's like to go through not being celibate in a spiritual way. And I also feel like every week, at least, if not every day, we're busy girls now, but we sit down and there's something that's happened every week that we're like, how do you handle this? I want to handle it this way, but it's not just like in the 3D world, the reality of being in this earth, but also how does your spirituality come into those every day, every week situations?
Absolutely.
And how do you combine those things? We've got the 3D thoughts and the mind and the body, but also we've got the spirituality that we know we're connected into. And so it's, how are we handling these situations that we know are going to pop up? And that's what we want to share with y'all is, hey, this past week or this past month, this is what we got into and this is how we handled it. And so it's really just, we're really just here to guide you and be maybe a suggestion, maybe an example, or just a comforting kiki moment.
When woo-woo meets reality. That's what you'll find here with us.
Yes, exactly.
So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been so much fun. I can't wait for our next episode. Get it.
I told you all to dance.
Yeah, we do a little
Can I send them?
Done. Get it. She's got the booty in the house. She does. But I think that's it. That's it for me. Do you feel complete?
I feel complete. I feel complete.
Shout out Mahal for the do you feel complete, because that hits, that resonates.
That is what hits nowadays.
So
complete.